Hey, hey, hey. I'm your humble host, Fizz Ed Music, and this right here is Urban Politics. Want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, take your little cell phone over to YouTube, like and subscribe, Fizz Ed Music, Urban Politics. But without further ado, I want to jump right into it like a car and drive. We've got all types of tasty and delicious politics to sink our teeth into. Once again, I got my dude right here, Rick. Good to have you. I got to dap you up there because I just lick my hands. And my son hates when I do. If you watch the shows I've had with little Eddie, he always talks about that. He don't like when I do that. But guess what? It's delicious. I can taste it. It's dripping. It's dripping in my mouth, man. Let me tell you, we're going to talk about Trump versus the military. We'll talk about tariffs. We'll talk about RFK Jr. and we will talk about the government shutdown. And then we're going to talk about Cardi B versus Nicki Minaj. Menagerie. And just some female rapper stuff. But first of all, let's get right into Trump versus the military. My man right here, didn't you go to military school?
I did.
Okay, so there it is. You have a frame of reference with all of this. My mom's side of the family is all military. So a lot of my uncles served, and heck, my Uncle GT, who is my father's brother, he watches the show. What up, Uncle GT? He served in Vietnam. My father was in the military, but a lot of my mom's family, a whole lot of my mom's family is in the military. You went to military school. Did you see that speech? Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
we watched a little bit a little while ago. Oh, give me your hot take on it.
So my family, my grandfather, both of my grandfathers were in the military.
Okay, I didn't know you came from a military family at all. Like that. Okay.
Navy and Army.
Cool. Okay.
And then so it wasn't. I think I was the first in my generation to, because I have a cousin that also was in the military. She lives here in the city.
Okay.
And so, but anyway, one of the first lieutenant governors of South Carolina.
Yeah.
One of the first black lieutenant governors of South Carolina, Alonzo Rancière.
Okay.
So
oh wow.
there's a vested interest in
then.
the national debate as far as how military funds are spent, Senate approval for wars.
I hear
like
that. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I watched the speech with you too. In my mind, it was a horrible speech. The admirals and generals were kind of stone faced. The crowd was quiet. Trump had the nerve to be surprised that they weren't receiving it.
They weren't.
You know, what did he think? You know, first of all, these are men and women who fight and die for our country. And then the way he was coming was just so raggedy that I think they couldn't do anything. They didn't boo, they didn't cheer, they just did nothing. And that really threw him off. It was really, it was pretty sad. And then he was talking about, there's parts in the speech where he talked about American streets should be used as testing grounds for war. Called for the Department of Defense or said that it was too woke. So we know what that means. No more women, no more people of color. And then he talked about inner cities and the enemy from within. So it's talking about inner cities and the enemy from within. What do you think about that? What do you think about all that?
Oh wow! Well,
he's basically talking about weaponizing federal troops against American citizens. How do you feel about that?
Let's go back to the first bullet.
What'd you think?
Because there's a lot.
Well, called the Department of Defense too woke. So that means no more women, no more people of color.
Yes.
Yes, they are too woke, or no, they are not too. And this
no, they're not too woke.
Okay.
But the implication is that there's too much of a minority presence. There's too much focus on having minorities be a focus as far as the presence. That is their attitude anyway.
Yeah. It is interesting though. Before we even start talking about this, you talked about all the family members you have in the military.
Yes.
And I talked about all the family members I got in the military.
Yes.
And we both black. So
yes.
I don't know what that. What does that mean?
And
maybe there are a lot of black people in the military.
Yes. It was not just back then, but even today.
Yeah.
A lot of people from other countries will join the military, and it gives them incentives as an American. And even just as an American, you get incentives. You can get to school, you get money, you get a job, you get skills. There's a lot of incentives, especially if you come from a poor background or you didn't do well in school. Maybe you had to go straight to work at a young age. Yeah, it's a good option. So if you're from a small town, like half my family's from a small town, West Virginia.
Okay.
And then, well, of course, my grandfather, one of them was, one of them wasn't. But anyway, it was a good option for them, just as far as having access to things as an American citizen.
Yeah, that
But
makes,
of
yeah,
course,
makes sense.
did it pay out the way they were told it was? You know, these are stories I got to hear coming up.
Yeah, true.
You know, so it wasn't all.
The military can be a
promising.
very different place if you're a person of color.
Definitely.
Now, there are plenty of people of color who had a great time in the military and have a great story, but there's plenty of people of color and not of color who, you know what I'm saying, can tell about stories in the military. Rape. They weren't so nice. Sweet child. And that's, I'm not making light of that, but I'm just, I got to add that caveat because I was talking to my father about that. You know what I'm saying? His experience in the military was great, but I was like, a lot of people's experience in the military hasn't been so great.
Yeah.
So you got to understand that. Now, they also talked about, or Trump talked about the inner cities, the enemy from within. What do you think about that? And who do you think he's talking about that enemy from within?
So,
what do you think that enemy looks like?
I want to put those 2 points together, right?
Yeah.
The military, as far as diversity, and the enemy within. I think we're talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
We're talking about a culture war.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a resistance to the shift in how America wants to see itself. Because with minorities in America being participants, active participants, taxpayers of American culture, and it changes the face of what American. Now you have to keep the promise of the Constitution.
There you
Now
go.
you got to keep the word. Now we all are created equal.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think that the reality of that picture. I think it's fallen deaf.
Yeah.
On some ears.
Well,
And
our
that's
presence
the
is a reminder of how America never fulfilled that dream.
Yeah, it is.
Just our presence,
It
just
is.
us being here.
It
So, yes, you are 100% correct about that. You know what I'm saying? Now, hold up, Pete. And I really didn't like this at all. Pete Hegseth says, "If you're a toxic leader, I have your back." That's what he said. You know that? Now I just brought up, in a flippant manner anyway, rapes in the military, but that's true. And like I also told my father, a lot of those are male rapes, which doesn't make it better, but I'm just painting a picture for you. You know what I'm saying? So,
another part of the culture world.
But what's up with that? If you're a toxic leader, I have your back. And that's horrible. What you laughing at that.
So here's the thing, right?
That is horrible.
Well, so you acknowledge so we're talking about acknowledgement of fault. Accountability, essentially, is a kind of this culture.
And I guess he don't care about no accountability.
Well, this part of culture war to me is also accountability. Are we going to be accountable for how we ended up with this diverse state? Yeah. If you notice the cultures that are here, most likely we have attacked. Okay, most likely we have a base in that country. You know what I mean? So yes, these cultures are going to come in here and start dictating. As a matter of fact, making certain ideas and principles more popular than perhaps your interpretation of traditional American culture. Okay. So as far as him having his back, he had an option. And this is culturally, this is a shame because it's not really a cultural thing. I think it's more like a narcissist type thing. But this is something that's very popular in American culture. When you're wrong about something, you have 2 options, right? I can either say, you know what, I need to rethink this. I'd like to sit down with this person and feel out where they're going with this because I'm really not lining up. Or you can double down and say, hey, look, this is the leader and this is where he's going, so this is where we're going. Yeah. It's the idea that your national pride is, more important than your human pride. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, it's just another thing that this administration has done to come against people of color. You know what I'm saying? So, or just people, period, who don't agree with them. You know what I'm saying? It's sad that he would say something like that because I'm like, now that lets anybody who's getting raped or getting abused know you better not go to your supervisor with this because they're not going to hear you and they're just going to play you off. And God forbid it's your supervisor who is abusing you or hurting you. Who you going to go to? Who you going to call? So that's sad that would come out of his mouth. Now this guy also has like this beard thing against black men. There's some kind of I think like beard thing that black men get
Oh, in the military, yeah, that's
in the
right.
military.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were saying that he didn't outlaw them
Razor
where you have to.
bumps.
Yeah, and then now you have
Yeah.
to be clean shaven or whatever, or.
So back in the day,
Uh-huh.
you know, they had cheap because everything in the military was bought in,
In
big
bulk.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the razors weren't the best. Even the toilet paper, there's a lot of stuff wasn't highest quality. But
I
back
can
in the
believe
day,
it.
yeah. In the
Yeah,
shaving
yeah,
cream,
yeah.
everybody had the same shaving cream.
True indeed.
So yeah, some people got razor bumps real bad, but there is no but. There, I think there is legitimate people that they just need to be allowed to grow some hair.
Yeah.
I was under the impression that electric razors
Uh-huh.
were supposed to dial that down.
Okay.
But from what I also understand, electric razors can really make it worse.
Yeah.
Because it's really about the dirt on the razor, how sharp the razor is. Because the duller it is, the dirtier it is.
Yeah, there's a and I'm sorry, I didn't have time to look it up, but
I don't
there's a
know, something like that.
Well, no, there's a word for it, and it directly affects black men. I guess black men get it, and these bumps and stuff or whatever from the razor and stuff. And I forget, it's like it's something that directly happens to black men. So that's why people are saying that he's targeting black men with this because it only happens to us. So.
I mean, look, that's why I said there are legitimate cases, obviously, but I think whoever is the line of thinking, I think they're on, because again, in military school, there's still a lot of military influence as far as what you could and could not do.
Yeah.
And the idea was that you had to go along with the, whatever. These are the resources available to you. This is what you're stuck to use.
Yeah.
And in cases like that, you would get an exception.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because they don't want you to be all cut up and bloody and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think there's even exceptions like, with police and especially officers. I'm pretty sure officers have had some facial hair. So no, there's exceptions to all that.
Yeah, so that's why I said just another ploy of this administration to come after people of color. Now, people have talked about Pete Hegseth said he's the most unqualified defense secretary in American history. True, the guy was a Fox News pundit, and now he's Secretary of Defense.
Culture war. I mean, I think so. Let's go back to Trump's speech, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's very proud of himself.
Yeah.
Because he's seeing the culture war play out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's mass shootings.
Yeah.
He's everybody is following along. What was it called? The 2025.
Yeah. What is that? Project 2025.
Yeah. It's playing itself out. So technically, I think he's very proud of winning he thinks he's winning the culture war.
Yeah, I hear that.
But I don't think it's really happening on the ground.
Then that leads me right to my next thing: tariffs. Let's talk about these tariffs, the tariffs.
I almost don't want to talk about it. Mess around and raise the tariffs on you.
There it is. Now hold up. For those who don't know, my man right here is a small business owner. What is that small business?
Oh, Rancier Services LLC.
Oh, okay, there it is. And what do you do?
We maintain properties.
There it is, landscaping. You gotta have it. And he's awesome at his job. You know what I'm saying? So check this out. Now, 1/4 of conservatives disapprove of Trump's handling of the economy. That blew me away. Think about that. 1/4 of conservatives. So he's just conservative Republicans, but 1/4 of them are already like, no. Finally, because they losing money and serving them. Hold up, I want to hear your story. So. Tariffs, they said tariffs have been upending businesses. Lower income Americans cut back their spending. So that's what's going on.
Yeah.
So and then they had talked about, I think I was watching like the Young Turks, and they was talking about some white couple that owned a couple of businesses, maybe 5 businesses. They were doing pretty good. All of them was hurt because of these tariffs and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And they was a part of this 1/4 of conservatives that were going against Trump. Now what's up? Give me your tariff story. Or do you have one? Or do you not have one?
My interpretation of events, right? I think it's a cheap way to me it looks like a cheap way to artificially maintain some integrity to the dollar.
Okay.
Because the dollar is being abandoned, like almost weekly.
I've heard that.
You know, it's not. It is not the world's favorite currency anymore. It's not the hope of the future as far as currency goes.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So I think it's a cheap attempt to get back at those who are encouraging people to abandon the dollar. People like China.
Yeah.
What is it? The BRICS.
Yeah.
I think the BRICS is a serious thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Trump is jumping digital.
Okay.
Or tried to put out a digital currency.
Yeah, well, he's got a Bitcoin that's making billions, and they're saying how that goes against the Constitution because he's president. That's just from one of his a long list of criminal offenses.
He's abandoned. He himself. I say that to say he himself abandoned the dollar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He is the president of the United States, and he himself is investing in a digital currency.
That's interesting. Yeah,
so that tells you how he feels about the future of our currency.
Wow, and that's a good point. And then that might be a reason why he doesn't mind tanking it.
He's not paying the tariffs. It's very clear that we're
thought.
Paying for all of this. So
It falls on the taxpayer. That's interesting.
What does he care? All he's got basically a stock accruing value.
I'm about to delete that right there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm like, wow, I didn't even think about that. I never drew that correlation, but that makes a whole lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? What do he care about the American economy? What does he care about the American dollar?
Now, and I'm sure there's more to it.
Yeah, I mean, well, he got plenty of money, period, but that Bitcoin is really bumping. And that's it. That's been him and his family's focus because his family, the two brothers, they got a big stake in it. They making money off of that. So there it is. So that's a good point you bring up. Moving on in the interest of time. That's interesting. Let's talk about the hot mess train wreck that is RFK Jr. His approval rating, I guess in March it was minus 11%. In June it was negative 15%. Right now it's negative 21%.
Damn.
4%. Yeah, it's just got progressively worse.
Well,
why would it not though? This man has led to the death of children. I think like 3 or 4 million kids or something like that have died. Yeah.
That was a result of his policy changes.
Yes, sir. Just up to this date.
Yeah.
Do your Googles. You'll see what I'm talking about. So check it out. 4% of Democrats approve of him. I said that right. 4%. 4% is nothing, but
approve is strong. I mean, you're saying 4% is not much, but approve is strong.
And who the HE double hockey sticks are these Democrats they were talking to who approve of this guy? But it was only 4%. It was only 4%. No big whoop. No great shakes. 71%
disapprove.
No, of GOP members approve of the job that he's doing. You heard me right, sir. Wow. What do you think about that? I think these people are cowards. I think these people are feckless. I think they're pathetic. I think they are capitulating to a narcissistic leader. Yeah. RFK, I ain't even talking about Trump right now. RFK, this guy wanting to get rid of all these vaccines, wanting to do all this crazy crap, not wanting to listen to scientists. He already knows that some of his actions, holding people back from vaccines, holding people back from medication, has led to the death of a good 3-4 million children. Yeah. Guy's still doing his thing. Yeah, now hold up, I'm gonna let you talk in a minute here, but this a guy and I never even put all this together. A guy who was a Democrat 13 months ago.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. He was a Democrat 13 months ago, becomes an anti-vaxxer and signs up with the Republican Party. So what the is
how did that happen?
Yeah.
My observation.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I want to hear.
So this is what I observed. Mm-hmm. I think RFK is very desperate to be a part of the national conversation in general. And he was running for president originally.
Yeah.
And I think he originally got popular because of his discovery of Western medicine being very cruel towards the black community.
You know?
And it kind of exposed some of the hypocrisy and conspiracies. And in fact, he's very proud of himself. And I think as the nation was, because he was RFK, he's Kennedy, and name has credibility anyway.
It does, a whole lot, maybe too much.
And then I think that's part of his problem, right? I think originally his intention was to just have some some type of perspective like his in that room, clearly
Yeah.
around medicine. And I
Yeah.
almost think he was tricked into being in this seat and taking some of these positions that he's taking.
I'm sure.
I don't.
We talking about
clearly,
that. I think
I don't think he is being really groomed
none of these people are serious.
about what he's responsible about. Which, on that level, I
Yeah.
can't. Obviously, it's his fault. He's that. He holds the seat, the responsibility. The whole point of being a director or having a title is so that we can hold you accountable.
Yeah.
So in that
Yeah.
sense, he is definitely accountable. But
Yeah.
what it looks like somebody's pulling his string.
Yeah, I believe.
It
Yes,
looks like
I
his
agree.
strings are being
Man, this
being
guy
pulled
is
recklessly.
he is an idiot. He is a buffoon. He don't know nothing about nothing. His last name is Kennedy, so he got the job. So he just up there doing stuff. The lady that he fired, he got rid of her because she wouldn't just blanketly okay a bunch of garbage or getting rid of a bunch of stuff. And she's like, no, I need to research that. Or researchers told me we shouldn't do this. I'm not going to sign off on it. So then he got rid of her, and that's what these guys do. If you work for them and you won't sign off on their BS, then they just fire you.
Well, you brought up that he used to be a Democrat. Why didn't he still want to run with the Democrats? Democrats might have made him the director of the CDC or whatever it is, right?
No.
So, well, exactly. Exactly. So you answered your question. That's why.
Like,
all he wanted to do was bring, and that, so there it is. So then, it's like that's it. But that's okay. You asked the question, right?
All right.
Why didn't the Democrat?
you-
He was a Democrat. So why not run under that umbrella? Well, would the Democrats have let him be the head
No,
of
sir.
any health, anything related to health care?
anything, Mr.
No.
Yeah, Mr. Swimming in sewage with his kids,
No,
Mr.
he might
Mr.
have been
Bear
in charge
Carcass,
of
Mr.
because Democrats are into now treating mental health and drug abuse as mental disorders, or
Okay,
I do think
that would have been cool
He
with the
would-
brainworm.
I think he could have played a major role in our national whatever if we still funded things like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm sure that those funds no longer exist.
You got a point. I'm going in on the man right now, but I ain't gonna lie. I work with the autistic community, which I've said on this show, and I agree it wouldn't be a bad idea to maybe investigate if some of these vaccines have led to autism. I'm not saying we should just totally wipe that off the table, but it ain't a good reason to just stop vaccines and people's access to them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and not all
I mean,
vaccines.
we can do both in tandem. Right?
It's either by intent or it's by lays, right? But
Mhm.
the truth is, what we don't know is what we don't know. Not
Yeah.
everything that we call a vaccine is necessarily we think of as a vaccine. So, right,
Yeah.
there's certain things that you take once in your life and you never take that shot ever again.
That's it. Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
It's
So
true.
a lot of people in their mind, that's a vaccine.
Yeah.
And then to other people, they consider a flu shot. I'm gonna go every year and get vaccinated.
And I don't. Yeah.
That's how. That's that. But we're very reckless with language, and
Right.
I don't think that's by accident either.
No, that's because language is how you think. So it's
Yeah.
all about the media wanting to control how you think, and they can do that through language.
Yes.
Word. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The government shut down Wednesday night. Shut down the government. The Republicans did. Republicans
Big
refusing. Shocker. Exactly. News at 11. Republicans refusing to even come to the table to negotiate the debt ceiling. Democrats are holding the line, trying to stop cuts to Medicare and Medicaid. What do you think about that? And it's crazy because these Medicare and Medicaid cuts will hurt all types of people, black, white, brother, and other.
So-
it has nothing to do with your political affiliation, but
What I've observed.
what
what
I've observed.
I've observed.
Um,
This happens every election.
Every damn we do this all the time, and it's always the party in power, right? You know what I'm saying? Being like, and we're gonna
It just
do
so
it.
happens that the party in power right now is
we ain't gonna-
nutty. Like
Yes.
they're really supporting some really reckless movements within the government, and they know that because of their accountabilities, that it's not going to be held up.
Yeah.
We have a pardon system.
Yeah.
So, before he leaves office, you simply pardon everybody. Or while you're doing it, as long as you are trying to execute something for the office, it's perfectly legal as you're doing it. So nobody can really stop you. So, yeah, there's a lot of poorly managed loopholes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And on both sides, like you said, this is a both side thing.
Yeah, it is. Well, I think the real heat though is coming from the Republicans because they're saying some of the stuff they want is just like ridiculous. They want to get something like I think like some of the mandates that are in the American Care Act or Obamacare or whatever. They help people access.
Well,
medical.
which party was in a better position to appeal to the majority working class whites, Democrats or Republicans?
I don't know. So for some reason, Republicans do a good job of it. I don't know what that's about.
Because they tell them that it's not their fault that America does not that they don't get to dictate the terms of what America really is.
It's not their fault?
Well, they don't get to dictate the terms of what America is. And that's that, but the way they were learned in school, everything they were taught, and include everything we learned in school, George Washington was a hero. And just when spoken about even Christopher Columbus, not as much today, but he was a hero for most of my youth.
True indeed, until recently.
Yeah. Well, we got to hear the story retold from another perspective.
Word.
So, I like to talk about that cube and sphere thing, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Whenever we're looking at something anywhere in the world, try to remember that anything it's like an atom, or like a planet, it's just a sphere. The best way to be able to observe it is to be able to take 6 screenshots, put it in a cube. That's the easiest way to observe it. And because I do it, because it's efficient that way, I have to remember that all I'm seeing is the face of the cube. And I can look at all of that, but the only thing I can really count on that space of the cube is directly in the middle. Because that's the thing that's closest to me. And the same thing goes for all other sides of the cube. You know what I mean? So while mainstream America is looking at the cube this way, you know what I mean? We saved the world from slavery. We freed the slaves. We freed the women. We brought democracy to the world. We brought these savages into the new world. Words like new, modern, ancient. I prefer words like obsolete. Because not everything that is new is needed. And not everything that is ancient is obsolete.
True indeed. I agree with that. I agree with that.
So the way we market, America is a living company. It's like
that's
a
what it is.
We market every message, every piece of everything is marketing. And now he's trying to do that. I mean, he's a businessman, right? So now he is trying to fix the product by fixing the marketing of the product, changing the history. Not changing, but trying to sustain.
Like erasing a lot of it, huh? Or trying to erase it.
Trying to sustain a version of it that he's familiar with. Because what he's saying is, you're trying to change it. You're the one that's rewriting history. You're bringing up all this stuff I've never heard of, and it just showed up in some book by some black guy. Because, he doesn't read books, so he doesn't know that white people write books about black history. In fact, some of the best authors on the subject. You know what I'm saying? So
are white. But, word. Yeah, that's a good point, and that's exactly what's going on. Not even so much of them trying to erase it, but to hold on to this version that they like. It makes them feel comfortable. They're cool with. All right, off of that, we off of the politics. Let's talk about a little pop culture. Cardi B versus Nicki Minaj. Man, they've been going at it. Not me, but people who follow these two people have been bringing me cell phones, and I've been seeing wild stuff. I like
these. I like this.
I mean, it blows me away. You know what I'm saying? I bring those two up going at it just because I think that not even get into the weeds of their beef or whatever, but I think the background of their beef, or why they probably have beef, I think because Nicki Minaj, she was the only girl on the block for a long time. Then comes along Cardi B. Cardi B might even have more eyes on her at this day. Probably might be. She does. She has more eyes on her than Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj's still doing her thing. She still has her following, but Cardi B is kind of up there right now, right? So she done came in her neck. They going back and forth. There are a lot of other female rappers.
Yeah.
Now these two are cool, right? Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. These are two girls who like to accentuate the sexuality, right? That's their thing. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Some of us have daughters, not me, him. And, right. So, and you know what I'm saying? And I've talked to some of my boys, with girls and stuff about this. You know what I'm saying? And I've also talked to, look, there was a lady I work with. I think she watches the show. She's real cool. She has 2 or 3 daughters. And I told her, I said, how do you come against all the Nicki Minaj's and the Cardi B's and all the sexual and hypersexuality? How do you not have your daughters on that? She said, for whatever reason, my girls aren't there yet. She said, so I'm enjoying them not being on that. Yeah. She said, when it comes, I'll have to deal with it. She's like, but for right now, they're 8, 9, or whatever, they're cool. So I would ask you, first of all, but before I even go any further, what do you think about that?
Okay. Nicki Minaj, Cardi B.
Yeah.
I don't want my daughter. So it's not what I want, first of all, right? I don't imagine that I'm raising my daughter to follow in those footsteps. However, you know, I think that because Nicki Minaj is more seasoned in the game, she has learned to try to flip that ratchet into grace.
Yeah.
Okay. She's I think she takes grace a little bit more important as opposed to recklessness.
Okay.
I think Cardi, because she's not young anymore, but I know New York. and I know what empowerment can do to somebody that's not born into it, and or just it's not surrounded by the right people to help you manage your grace, or to just bring down the reckless behavior.
Now, hold on,
because when you have that kind of power, you got power over people's jobs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're making millions of dollars, you're employing people.
Exactly.
You know
there's a lot of people depending on her.
Can't just
depending on these
reckless.
ladies. Yes.
But in one sense, because things are the way they are today, where that might even make her more popular. It might make her. Sure. So she found a way to generate something from that.
Look, I was telling people the only thing I don't like about this beef is that it is personal. I'm like, these two women make way too much money and got way too much going on to become. I mean, they come to each other by. One of them's brother was in jail, I think, for messing with an underage girl. The other one is married to a man who had issues with that. I think Nicki Minaj married to a man who was messing with an underage girl. So they're going back and forth about that, putting dirty laundry out there. Like I said, they two black women and they make too much money becoming at each other like that. Now, if this was a planned beef, something that they planned for people like us to be talking about, that would have made more sense because then it's boosting their album sales and all that. But the fact that these sisters are really going at each other's necks. Now, here's a name I even dread to bring up: Sexy Red. What you?
And you know it's messed up as I know who that is.
I know you know who that is. What you think about Sexy Red?
Man.
Ratchet? Nah.
Cheap.
Nah, you know, and see, here's the thing though. They talk about though, like she has a daughter that I guess goes to private school and don't be on none of that. And they said with her it's all an act.
Yeah. It has to be.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's just you're just trying too hard to be.
Is it okay for her to sell that to other people's kids but keep it away from her kids?
In a capitalist society, that's a hard question. Morally, no.
There you go.
Morally, no. But let me say this. I don't think as Americans, in Western society in general, because we consume a lot of raw resources without really incorporating there's a domino effect to our behavior in general.
Okay.
Our entire way of life. We have a waste system that accumulates to no end.
Yeah.
We literally, we have space junk
Yeah.
that's accumulating because we don't really know what to do with it. You know, so it's like we keep doing things. And I think it's because of the capitalist market.
I agree. Capitalism is the bane of the society, if you ask me.
You don't have to interweave anything back into the rotation, back into the ecosystem.
It's just a take.
Like there's that kid that's doing the plastiline.
Plastic. Oh yeah, making gasoline out of plastic.
I think it's been.
I've heard of it.
I think it's an old idea that really should have been executed a long time.
Well, you know why these ideas don't get executed? Because the people who are making money off of fossil fuels and all that other garbage, they suppress all that stuff. They make sure it doesn't come to light because they want to continue to make the millions that they made.
Taxpayers will pay for that.
And we just didn't we, with this president?
Well, right? I mean, for the gas plastic, if taxpayers had an option of investing money, as far as making the world a better place, we can build more ships, more nuclear subs, or we can buy a bunch of these plastiline
once again
gizmos and recycle, get the plastic out the ocean.
Capitalism is what makes it so that even though everything you said is great and it would further humans and humanity,
and create jobs.
I'm getting paid over here, and we making money. We making money.
Yeah.
This guy talking about polluting the air. We making money.
Well, and it's not. I don't think it's necessarily capitalism alone either.
What else is it?
I think it's how we manage capitalism.
What do you mean? I mean, capitalism says that I'm making the money, and by any means necessary, I make the money.
So
and that's what people want.
If capitalism implies interest,
then
yeah, capitalism by its nature is bad. But I don't think capitalism necessarily implies interest.
Oh, okay.
But that's a whole nother.
It is, yeah, but that's interesting because that's a different take on capitalism for me. Because I'm like, we get paid over here as capitalists. Children are dying. We getting paid over here. Anyway, we about to get out of here. I don't want to get no more of your time. Hold up. I also want to talk about some other. You know about Rhapsody?
What do you mean Rap City like MTV?
No, Rhapsody the female rapper.
Oh, no.
See, here we go. And I get to educate my man here. Listen, there's a lot of female rappers that are really dope.
Okay.
And they're not on all that sexuality and all that overhyped stuff. Rhapsody, she's real dope. She got signed by Jay-Z years ago. She's good. Look her up. She's dope. Your daughter might dig her. Raw, got the lyrics. She not about the sexuality type stuff. She was on a round table with who was it? Jadakiss, Raekwon, and somebody else, and they were giving her flowers. She looked like she wanted to cry because Raekwon was like, first of all, he said with the lyrics.
Is she somebody's daughter? Like is she like?
She might be, and I just don't know that. But yes, Rhapsody, she's dope. She's really really good, and she's not. I mean, she's like dope, like, and not on all that. I mean.
Obviously,
not to diss none of the WAP. Not to diss that.
My bad. Yeah.
Because I like WAP. Literally and metaphorically. It's a family show. My point being is, though, she ain't that type of female rapper.
You mean WAP, the WAP?
Anyway,
okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
No, you said WAP. You talking about Rhapsody? I'm back to rap. Look,
he got his mind in the right place. Not me, ladies and gentlemen.
But it's Rhapsody. So he said WAP, and I said WAP.
Her name is Rhapsody.
With an R.
Yes.
But WAP is something else.
Yeah, but no. Rhapsody. She's dope. Like I said, she was signed by Jay-Z. Raw got the lyrics. Okay, have you ever heard of Tierra Whack?
Nah, man.
Dope, and that's her real name. She's really good.
Her name is Whack?
Tierra Whack. And she's dope.
Is Whack doing something different today?
No, that's her God-given name. Her mama named her. That's her name. Her last name is Whack. Tierra Whack. Okay. Yep, she's dope, and that girl bust. And there's one girl. Oh my goodness, Shay Noir. Have you heard of her?
I have, I think.
Probably. She be messing with 38 Special and some of them guys you hip to these names.
No.
Raw. These guys, they raw. They raw. A lot of these people, I've talked about it on the show before. I call these people internet killers. That's what they are. Have you heard of Baby Keem?
No, man.
This guy's numbers are amazing because he's amazing. The kids know who he is. Woo-wee. Some of these guys, you'll never hear them on the radio.
Are they local?
No. These guys live all over the place. Have you ever heard of Don Toliver? Oh, now some of his stuff has been on the radio.
let me.
But he's internet killers.
You're
Their numbers are nuts. I'm talking about 300 million views on songs.
You're gonna be able to go down a long list. So before you keep going,
no, it's cool.
Let me let you
listen. I do this because you are not alone.
Okay.
I talk to people all the time who are like, who is that? What are you talking about? What is this? What is that? I'm like, well, you ain't got, come on now.
But I know you follow the music. I know you got the
I'm tough in the music. I'm telling you, listen, I have two loves in life. One is politics. The other is music. And I do have a child. So. I have 3 child children. What is that? No. Okay. I love music and I love politics. I'm passionate about both. We ain't gonna take no more of your time, and that's it for Urban Politics. Please like and subscribe as you do. I appreciate you for doing that. Right here with my man Rick, I appreciate you.
There we go.
Love to get his insight, love to get his you know what I'm saying, perspective on things. And what can I say? As always, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna see you around like a donut.